Tonight, construction of the Ford electric vehicle battery plant in Marshall, Michigan is back underway, although the company says it will scale down previous estimates. Ford paused the project in September during the UAW strike, saying it would need to evaluate the scope of the project.
Now, the company says instead of employing an estimated 2,500 people, the plant will instead have 1,700 workers, and the plant will produce around 40% less than originally planned.
Joining us tonight to break this down is Jeff Gilbert, auto reporter with WWJ News Radio 950. Jeff, thanks so much for being here with us this evening.
Sure, thanks for having me.
All right, Jeff, so let's get right into it. What do you think this announcement means for Ford's EV goals?
Well, what it means, and Ford discussed this a little bit earlier today, they believe that the growth of EVs is slowing down. They say it's still a growing market, not growing as fast as they originally thought it would. So this, they say, is in response to this. They will not need as many batteries as they originally thought they would need. So that's why they scaled back this project. And earlier, they scaled back another EV battery plant in Kentucky. So this isn't the first time they've done this.
So, Jeff, when this was all announced earlier this year by Ford and Governor Whitmer as well, the state had promised $1.8 billion in taxpayer subsidies. So can we expect that that's not happening anymore, or at least that much money?
The expectation is that will be scaled back. Ford today said that they thought that would be scaled back proportionately. That they didn't say exactly how much. The state has not yet said how much, but the expectation is that the incentive package will not be as large as it was before. Obviously, a situation like this is going to call for some negotiations, so we probably won't hear an exact number for a while.
And Jeff, Ford has set this goal of 2 million EVs produced every year by the end of 2026. If they make less in Marshall, where can they pick up the slack?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how accurate that goal is going to be because everybody is rethinking their targets when it comes to EVs. Most of the car makers have scaled back some of their plans just because, again, some of the original estimates were a little over optimistic. Ford said for the record today that they still feel there's going to be growth in EVs, but not as much growth as they had originally thought.
So how much of this has to do with the strike? Of course, that 2-month pause was announced just a couple of weeks into the UAW strike. Was that a coincidence? Do you think we'd be here regardless?
No, it was not a coincidence at all. In the middle of negotiations, Ford actually said that they put all of this on pause because they didn't know what their labor costs were going to be. That obviously factors into this. Ford didn't say that, but what they did say is that they feel now that they have certainty of labor costs, that can let them go ahead with a specific plan. That they had talked earlier when they put the project on pause, saying it was not going to be canceled, but it could be scaled back. So they kind of telegraphed that something like what happened today would be coming.
And Jeff, one thing that are on some people's minds is making these EV batteries locally. Does it make them less expensive? Is a smaller plant, is that more expensive?
Well, the idea is to make these locally. These are a different kind of battery chemistry. It's called LFP. It doesn't hold as much range, but it recharges faster. It's less expensive and it can last longer. And Ford feels that there are certain vehicles that these batteries will work in. But they also say their only other choice for these batteries would be to import them from China. So they feel that making them locally, even though it's with a Chinese partner, and that has caused some controversy, but Ford has said they feel that making them here and locally, hiring people in Michigan is a better thing to do than to just buy them from a company in China and ship them across the world.
It seems like there's some consensus that the EV momentum is sort of stalling a little bit. So do you expect to see more announcements like this from other automakers?
We've already seen announcements like this. GM, for example, its Orion plant, it's delayed the whole redo of that for EVs by about a year. So car companies are looking at their EV portfolios. They're trying to decide what they can do to make them less expensive and also trying to decide what the market will bear. There are a lot of new electric vehicles on the market and a lot more are coming next year.
All right, Jeff Gilbert, WWJ News Radio, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.